Let me look. I think
All
it
right.
was.
I kicked
Oh, it
off
was
the
yours,
recording, so
Yours. I was gonna say yours and Bradley. Yeah, you could start it.
okay. Let me
But
pull
you're.
that up really quick.
Are you gonna share your screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you share
So
it, I have the app.
final score of this one, Bradley up by basically 20. That puts Bradley at 2-0, leading our division, knocking me back to 1-1. Hate to see it.
With this game, it was kind of weird because like there were a couple stinkers, but there were 3 guys that had over 40 points, which was Jones, Henry, and then you had Brady on the bench, which obviously killed you. But can't blame you for choosing Dak there.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun choice every week, choosing between Brady and Dak.
Yeah. Do you have a preference so far throughout the? I mean, obviously Dak had a bad week 2, but is that enough to catapult Brady ahead of Dak for you?
I think it's definitely going to be to the point now where Dak's not automatically in there. Like it's definitely going to be probably whoever has the better matchup. Like look at it next week though. Like Dak, I forget who Dak plays, but Brady plays the Rams. So it's gonna be tough.
Eagles.
To start the Eagles. So I'm leaning towards Dak right now, but we'll have to do a little bit of research and see. Even though the 9-point stinker is definitely tough, but they also just had like almost 200 yards on the ground between Zeke and Pollard. So I think that definitely comes back against the Eagles' run defense because they have one of the best run defense in the league. So.
Yeah, those are both tough matchups. I think the Eagles' defense is surprisingly good. And then I think the Rams game, it could go one of 2 ways. It's either going to be like a complete defensive showcase or it's going to be like a shootout. And it's hard. I don't know how you determine which way it's going to go.
Right.
Well, I think we'll find out how good the Eagles defense is this week since it's just playing the Cowboys offense, with so much talent. Because like the Falcons, their ass, and Niners are solid, but they were obviously really banged up. So I think this week will be a good test for them, indicator.
Yeah, I just think it was funny about halftime. We were getting texts from Bradley saying he's done with King Henry, and then the second half he dropped like 35. I'm pretty sure.
It's a typical. Like I was right there with Bradley. Like you just watch it. Like he doesn't like get any better in the second half. It's just everyone else gets tired and worse, and then he like all this stuff that he does, which is just like basically run north and south. It just ends up working, and people start deflecting off of him. Because in the first half, people do that, or he does that, and like people go and hit him, and he like falls so easily because he runs high, but then surprisingly isn't able to break a lot of those tackles. Second half, whole different story.
That's a good point. And like, I'm actually interested to see what Bradley does with Henry because his workload, last year was crazy. This year it's already high. Like, how long will he hold on to him? When will he? Obviously, he'll probably hold on to him all of this year. But...
Yeah.
Why would he get rid
of him? Yeah. What's that, Reid?
If he's falling out of the playoff picture somehow, I'm trading Henry this year for prospect.
Oh,
sure. I just don't see him falling out of the playoff hunt.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
that's
I'm just saying that's a possible way for it to happen.
Yeah, no. But even before the season, Austin and I were mentioning that to Bradley, saying that like. I was saying that I personally wouldn't be surprised if he had 1 or 2 years left. That's because I thought he was like 28 or 29, but he's like 27, maybe 28. But I think he has like maybe 2 or 3 years left. But like I think that workload is going to catch up to him. And yeah, I don't think he has like the requisite like skills or abilities. Not saying that he's not good, but just like a lot of his game is his durability, his size, and like his speed. But
They are working him into the passing game though. 6 targets, 6 receptions.
I don't expect that to last.
Derrick Henry catching the ball though. Derrick Henry catching the ball is a big evolution in the game. I was telling my
friend, I was like half joking. It's like I don't know if I've ever seen like Derrick Henry catch a ball like live, like while watching a game.
Yeah.
I think
I was.
Go ahead, Reid.
Miss Collin.
Oh, that's Collin? I couldn't tell. Go ahead.
I was gonna kind of move it off because you brought up Cup, and I wanted to get like.
That's who I was about to say.
Yeah. So what he thought about? Because we can kind of talk about Robert Woods, I guess, when we get to Tom. But like him and Cup, that dynamic is interesting.
You said what I think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch any of the Rams game. Maybe you did.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I know. Yeah, no. I mean, him and Stafford obviously seem to have a really good rapport. Yeah, I don't really know how to explain it because I've always said like him and Woods are like similar type of players. They're good route runners, especially it's like short to medium. They're both quick, short, choppy, stop on a dime, all that stuff. And yeah, I guess just him and Stafford. It seems like Stafford's got a little inkling towards Cup, or they just have a special, chemistry or whatnot. But I think Woods will pick it up over the course of the season. I'm not necessarily worried about Woods though.
Yeah, I think what I was going to call out is I feel like Cup and Woods kind of both go through like a stretch, probably like a 3 to 4 game stretch during the year. Like they rotate who like the number one target is. Like if you look back to the last couple of years, and especially Cup really does it when he falls into the end zone because he just scores a lot more touchdowns than Woods outside of last year. I think it was like the only year of their career playing alongside each other where he didn't outscore him in terms of touchdowns. But having 3 touchdowns through 2 weeks is pretty big. Even though the targets are going up slightly more Cup's way, I think Cup is definitely a sell high right now if you could, because I mean he's the number 1 overall wide receiver in PPR right now, and I think Woods would be a good buy low, dude, because he's still getting decent targets, but he's just not getting anything around the red zone right now. It looks like Cup just had a couple blown coverages that have got him some long touchdowns. Yeah. I think that's a little bit more fluky than anything.
Just to interject real quick, I do think Cup will obviously not this rate that he's going right now, but I do think he'll keep like his good. I think I would keep him. I think he's good.
Do you think he finishes in the top 10 end of the year?
I would say he's close, somewhere around there.
Without injury.
Sorry, go ahead, Riley. What's up, Reid?
Without injury, he's definitely top 10. I mean, that's all he's done is produce his entire career. I don't see why the inclusion of Stafford will stop that.
Yeah, it's just only going to enhance it.
Yeah. I was going to ask Austin, he said sell high on Cup. Like, who do you want instead of him?
I think a reasonable trade right now would be like Cup for AJ Brown, honestly. I think that'd be a pretty even trade. Like, it's a little bit different for Dynasty. I'm thinking of like redraft.
Yeah, for redraft.
For redraft purposes, I think like Cup for AJ
That's
Brown
interesting.
is about fair.
Who would you rather have?
I think I'd probably rather have the AJ Brown side long term.
No, that's fair.
Oh,
no, go ahead.
Obviously, long term AJ Brown, yes, but even the rest of this season, I think AJ Brown too.
No, very well. Yeah.
That's just one. That's one. The first person that came to mind for me.
Austin, are you concerned about Higbee? 2 points?
No, he's going to have games like this. Last week, he had 60
yards. That's facts.
He's just going to have. They're going to have weeks like that. That's what. When you draft the tight end, they're going to have some weeks where they just poop the bed. So.
But as a contender, especially in a dynasty league with the strategy that we went, does that not concern you at all? Having like such a potential, not saying every week, but such a potential weak spot in your lineup going against some of the other, loaded rosters, quote unquote.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's definitely a couple of guys that have some better tight ends than I do that are top teams. But like even someone like Tom that supposedly has a top team, he's sitting at 0-2. He has Kittle. Kittle is horrible so far.
Bradley's
sitting here with Hunter Henry, so I mean that's no better than I have.
Rumor had that Austin's been hitting up trade offers for a new tight end, so I think he's a little worried.
I got a Chris. I've been marketing Gronk all year, man. How come no one wants him? I told you.
I might have to come.
Gronk.
I will say, while we're still talking about my team before we jump to the next matchup, I do have Chris's pick in 2022, which is looking like it might be the first pick of the second round, which is basically a first rounder. So if anybody's interested in a first rounder, I'm willing to sell.
We can.
What'd you say, Collin?
That was Reid.
Whatever.
Siggy's here.
All right. Anything else on this matchup, or you want to jump to the next?
Real quick, we can just be brief. Oh, sorry, right? You saying something?
I was just going to ask Austin how he feels about Lockett rest of the season.
Good. Oh, I wish I could sell Lockett right now. But even though he's the Let's see where he's at.
Gotta be a top
He's
three.
the number 2 wide receiver right now in PPR, but nobody wants him. So I think I talked about this a little bit last week, but Lockett's the perfect flex for my lineup, considering some of the other talent I have in there. I'm not going to be able to. I don't think I can sell him and get someone back that has the ceiling that he has, and that's basically all I need him for is a ceiling. Because the weeks where he poops the bed, I think my other guys can cover him. This week just happened to be a little bit unfortunate because I started the wrong quarterback. Even though Bradley had 2 players score 30 plus, I would have won if I started the right quarterback. So I'll just have to get that right moving forward.
Well, real quick, what do you guys think about Zeke and Pollard? Do you think Pollard's like gonna get that many touches, that many carries going forward, or you think that it's ever gonna go back to Zeke, or you think any chance Pollard like ever takes over?
I think it's going to be personally. I think it's going to be a 70-30 split and I don't know what the exact split was this week. I think it was more 50-50. But I think that Zeke he's still got plenty left in the tank. Pollard, I think they really just want to use Pollard more as a pass catcher. Even though Zeke's not a bad pass catcher, they just really like Pollard more in that aspect. Yeah. I think you're going to see them both on the field quite a bit. Like
no doubt about
that. I think Pollard on the field too.
I think you look at Zeke and Pollard like you look at Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Except like scales are a little bit tilted where like I think Zeke, at least for now, is worse than Chubb. And I think Pollard's a little bit better than Kareem Hunt, but it's close.
You think he's better than Hunt?
Wow. Oh, I don't know.
Wow. I don't know about that.
Depends.
I was going to say real quick, though, didn't Pollard have 100 rush yards? Like, did he have a long run or something? Or how many, like, did he?
I think he had 10 plus carries.
Still, 100 rush yards is not bad. But yeah, we could talk about that Pollard Hunt thing and move on. So, Riley throwing in bombs at the end, daggers.
All right. I think the next matchup down, I'll jump to Tom and Reid. We can get the second one listed. Reid with the big dub here by 10.
Huge dub.
Tom with the upset.
No matter how hard Reid tried, he still came away with the victory.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get this on the video. Reid tried to lose.
I have been trying to make that trade with Collin for the last like 6 weeks, so I smashed accept when it finally went through, not thinking about the.
So Reid tried to trade Aaron Rodgers, his quarterback, after every other quarterback on his team had played on Monday morning, to Collin for a second-round pick in 2023. And then we had to make sure that got undone until the game started, and then went back through. But Reid, luckily, having played Rodgers, pulled the big comeback upset on him.
Luckily.
Him and Hawkinson combined for like over 60.
Yeah.
Speaking of Hawkinson, I heard this trade brought up, and I was wondering if you guys would do it. Would you do Kittle for Hawkinson right now?
Tried. I Austin that in redrafting declined. There was
wow.
But
you did not send me that in the redraft, Collin. Okay. That was a horrible trade. What you sent me in the redraft.
What was the trade?
I guess feel about Kittle Hawkinson. So, actually, you answer this question. Would you do Kittle for Hawkinson if you had Hawkinson?
If I have Hawkinson, I think it's close. But the rest of the trade was not only that, I was giving Collin Najee, and he was giving me CH. And
Bro, I told Collin that CH was a bad pick.
It's backfired. I reached for him. I just wanted a running back round 2. And I added Corey Davis. Don't Corey Davis, okay?
Definitely. As far as my team dynamic, no way do I trade Hawkinson for Kittle.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I guess he's younger.
A hypothetical. I don't think you do, right? You keep Hawkinson if you get that offer. I think
it was straight up.
Especially in our tight end league with like receptions,
the premium. That's fair. That's fair. I think
our offense funnels through Hawkinson.
I think I would still go Kittle though.
You guys let this boy slip to the 7th round.
No.
That was such a steal. Biggest draft. God.
That one still haunts Collin. What do you guys think about Lamar for the rest of the year? Like, you think? I mean, obviously, he's a lot's gonna be asked of him with the running back injuries and all that. But you think like the injuries are going to help him or hurt him because he doesn't have the same talent behind him, or it's going to help him because he's going to get more volume, or they're just going to need him to do crazy shit more?
I think he big balled everybody on Sunday night. He proved like he's actually a legit quarterback. I mean, I don't know if any other quarterbacks.
This
is coming from a Lamar
Austin
hater. I do not think he's that good, but I think he definitely showed something on Sunday that he's never shown before. I don't know if many other quarterbacks could have won that game, if any would have won that game.
Austin's a true politician. He's the king at answering the question without answering the question.
But Lamar rest of the season, I think he's starter worthy. I think he does fine.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll get.
You think the running back injuries? You think the running back injuries help him or hurt him?
I think it's going to be about the same, honestly. I mean, because the offense would be more efficient if they were there, but he's also going to have more opportunities for himself now. So.
Yeah, I think it helps him. I mean, a little, not much, but a little bit, because those carries that he may let Dobbins or Gus take, he'll take himself, just because he's more dynamic runner. But yeah, I mean the Chiefs' defense, it's not. We'll see. The Chiefs' defense is
very sus. But their offense is,
Before we move on, I was talking about my team. Someone trade for Tyson Williams and Elijah Mitchell so I don't pull off another accidental win. Just have Larry Roundtree chill in my lineup for a few weeks.
I'll trade you for the Bills defense.
For the Bills defense? There we go.
Yeah, I'll give you San Francisco for them. They'll score less points.
Out here making blockbuster trades on the.
I guess we can ask Reid about that. Reid, that's 2 weeks in a row where Brandon Ayuk has pooped in his pants. What's up?
Oh yeah, he's a hold right now. We'll see what happens. I mean, had a lot of hype coming into the season. Played 30% of the snaps week 1, and I think he only played like 50 or 60% week 2. So he played more. At this point, couldn't trade him for that much. Don't think I really want to trade him anyways. So we'll hope for the best and see what happens.
I think Ayuk is a tougher spot in redraft than Dynasty. I think in Dynasty, you he's good. You just hold him and you wait out Shanahan's bullshit. But in redraft, it's tough. Yeah,
I have him in one of my redraft leagues too. Like Reid said, you're not going to get much from him right now, but I do think he's going to come back stronger as the year goes on. So I'm not willing to trade him right now for pennies on the dollar. But at the same time, I don't know what I was going to say, but case closed.
I was going to bring up. Well, go ahead, Reid.
I wouldn't even trade him for a first rounder right now. So I'm perfectly content trading or
for a 2022 first. You wouldn't?
No.
Well,
what? No matter where the first is.
I might try for Evans.
I got you. I think the only other person I was going to bring up in this on the benches was Fields for Reid. I think Fields might get the nod this week with Andy being hurt. If he does get the nod, who do they play? Let's take a look. They play Cleveland. What do you think about that, Reid?
With all my rookie quarterbacks, Zach Wilson's my favorite, and Fields is probably my third favorite, if I'm being honest. Lance being my fourth favorite at this point. But I probably roll with Trevor Lawrence in my lineup for the foreseeable future, but see how everything plays out. Hopefully one of them hits.
I mean, the good news is I think if you add up your 4 rookie quarterback score, you might get to the average score of a quarterback. So we can try to do that.
Especially Zach Wilson.
Yeah, he had the rough Belichick rookie matchup. That was not ideal for him. 4 picks. Collin Fitzpatrick.
You guys think
Wilson?
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say if Wilson bounces back from that game and then just has a pretty good rest of the year as a rookie, I think he has a shot at being pretty good. If this Darnold's him and he's just cursed on the Jets and he just never gets out of his head, I think Wilson could be a bust.
Whether
Interesting.
whether he's good or not, I don't necessarily think this game will have too much of it. I don't think it's gonna like stick with him or nothing. Donald got screwed like by the organization and the coaching staff as well, so that probably didn't hurt. At least the Jets have a new coaching staff now, so maybe he's probably in a better situation regardless. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah. You look at what Darnold's doing. That Gase is looking pretty bad right now.
Oh, Gase is also.
Is it time for Tom to hit the panic button? 0-2 Tom. We talked about last week. He was in everyone's playoff, like even championship.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think he's really just got a little bit. He's got some underperforming guys right now. Devontae Adams doesn't have a touchdown through 2 weeks. He hasn't scored yet.
There's one player on his team that you just see the score that he had this week, and that's how you know like that Tom lost. And it's Alvin Kamara putting up 5 points.
Right.
That is such like
I mean,
if Alvin Kamara does anything remotely normal, like Tom wins. Like his floor is crazy high. So
and even Kittle too.
I personally wouldn't panic if I was Tom. I think Tom could easily win like 10 to 14 games this year.
10 to 14. Hope you're in.
You already had 2 of them now, bro.
I'm just saying.
It's hard to get to 14.
I think.
Oh crap!
We play 17 games. I can see.
But playoffs. One more. Your playoffs, though.
I'll jump down to our next matchup.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right.
Big Aggie with the 2-0. He goes on to 2-0. Collin falls down to 1-1. So I guess we should have mentioned through 2 weeks we have 2-0 teams with Aggie and Bradley. So they're both leading their respective division. Aggie sitting at 2-0. I don't think many people picked you last week in our playoff predictions. So
I know people will be sleeping. No, I'm happy. 2-0 is huge, especially with the strategy I went with. I don't have many future assets, so I just want an opportunity, and by that I mean I just want to make the playoffs, and then we'll see what happens. So obviously, with some of there's a few very good teams in this league, and starting out 2-0 is great for me. So very excited about that. And you want to go back to when you get a chance, want to go back to the matchup real quick or my roster?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was checking to see who you played the first 2 weeks. You played Chris and Collin so far.
Collin, yeah. So obviously,
you got an AFC East schedule so far, so that's pretty good news.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm just giving you crap.
We'll take it. Hey, we don't line them up. We just knock them down. Obviously, I'll need Saquon to pick it up, but obviously I'm betting on him to do that. As I traded for him in this league and also traded for him in our redraft league, but that's neither here nor there. Chubb is just like consistently just solid. I mean, great O-line. He's a great player, so I'm not worried about Chubb at all. Mike Evans.
What's up with 11 carries though, dude? I have him in too many leagues, and I don't understand why they want to give Kareem Hunt the ball the same amount of times. Chubb is twice as effective every time.
Yeah, I don't even know how many carries Hunt had, but even if Hunt did have 11 carries, that's no problem. It's just that they should. How many?
He had 14.
Yeah. Oh, even still, like he can have 14, but they should run it combined like 90 times a game, like regardless. Like Chubb should have more, of course, but I don't. Yeah.
In week 2 against Houston, you want to use your running backs up that much?
I'm just talking about as a general strategy. I mean, not like literally, obviously you want to save them when you can, but I'm saying like they should be running the ball like more than they do. And they should be running it a lot as their strategy with the backs they have and the line they have.
Yeah, I think something to call out too. I think Barkley looked better this week than he did week 1. He had like, what was it, like a 45-yard carry on one carry?
Yeah, like a 41-yard, yeah.
It was a 41
carry, like -2.
Yeah, and then he had 12. He had 12 more carries that totaled in 15 yards. So
right. So I mean, that's easy to call out. If you look back at Barkley's stats over the years, he normally has like 1 to 2 long carries a game that kind of carry his yardage, and then the rest of his carries are somewhat ineffective.
Daniel Jones is running better than Saquon is right now.
You know that better than anyone, though, Riley.
Yeah, but we expected. I mean, we expected him to start off slow, and better than anyone, Riley. The Giants' line is garbage, but I mean, we could be saying stuff about Kamara too, or Aaron Jones last week. So I mean, I think he'll pick it up because it's not like Saquon hasn't been effective before in his career. Like didn't he have like 2,000 scrimmage yards as a rookie? And then like, the injuries started piling up, but
He does have Atlanta next week. So that should be a get right game for him. I think if he doesn't perform next week, that's when it's time to start being a little bit worried about that injury taking a little bit of a toll on his body.
Yeah, that's fair.
Scrolling
I think
down-
we saw. I
Go
think we saw
Go ahead, Riley.
We saw like a really. This is a high average score for Ehi's team because everyone did relatively well, and then you had like Mike Evans who had a good week, and then like the Bucs defense obviously had 2 touchdowns. So like, I think this is within the realm of possible outcomes for Ehi's team. This is like a higher end average. I don't think it's a ceiling. I think like obviously some of his guys could do even more, but I would say like this seems to be like a good week for Ehi's team would be about this many points.
Well, looking back, I think Ehi scored 153 last week. So I mean, he's been very consistent. I mean, he scored basically within the same point 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I mean, I think fairly consistently. Obviously, Mahomes had a pretty good week and Chubb had a pretty good week, but I feel like I can fairly assume that they're gonna be consistently perform in that way. And then obviously Galladay didn't perform well. I'm banking on him to pick it up. I still have faith, but we'll see. Debo's been real good for me, but I think Waller can definitely easily average more than what he did right there with 12 points, even though that's better than like most of the tight ends in the league. So I mean,
I wasn't saying that like every player in your team had a high average performance. I just meant like in every week in fantasy, you're going to have a couple guys biff it. So
this is like that's
you didn't have anyone like put up like a goose egg. You had you had your average number of bad performances, and then you had a couple good performances. Then
Galladay and Saquon, couple duds.
I mean, that's Galladay's base, man.
We'll see. Maybe.
I kind of agree with Riley with that, but like saying that 152, like if that's like your range, like that's really good score. I know predictions have been way higher than these actual scores.
Yeah, that's facts.
Yeah,
152. I don't know what most of the league this week, and probably the same last week. So
it was second highest this week.
Yeah,
I'm in no way saying that as like an insult to Ehi's team at all. I'm saying that his team is looking solid.
Hey, Collin, I want to throw it out there that if you trade for Aaron Rodgers a day earlier, you won this matchup.
Yeah, I know. It's a bump. But then if I did it, weeks ago.
But this matchup is what made him trade. I forced it. I forced his hand.
He saw those back-to-back Joe Burrow plays, and he said, "I'm done." As a Bengals fan.
That was rough. I'm sure Reid understood that. 'Cause I'm guessing you were watching it too, Reid.
I was watching. So much anger at the front office.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about Miles Sanders in that Eagles offense? Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Good talk, Colin. What do you think about Sanders?
No, I think I've told most of you guys, I do like Sanders like more than most, because he's just every time he touches the ball, it seems like he gets 5+ yards. Gainwell's been more involved than I expected, so that's a little concerning because I thought Sanders more involved in the pass game because his rookie year he had like 500 receiving yards. I thought last year was more just him and Wentz were off. Wentz was awful throwing to him, and Sanders had some drops, but I thought this year he'd step it up in that area, but so far not so much. But I still like him though.
Colin, you do know you still have a Darius Geis on your bench, right?
I do. He's suspended for 6 weeks. He's super talented. Okay,
Dude.
A team's gonna come up.
You know who else is super talented and never made it? Maurice Claret.
Jump off.
I think that's who this guy is.
Trent Richardson.
No, I mean he could do nothing. I don't know, but it's worth to me. It's worth just holding on to and seeing.
I got you. Yeah, I think I also going to ask you about who was it? I missed it. Henderson. Your boy Darnell Henderson. He still had a pretty decent week, and that's 2 weeks in a row. I think he had 15 last year. Yeah, he had 16 last week too. So
got a little banged up though.
he did get a little banged up, but Sony actually got quite a few carries, I think, after he got banged up. So
he ran it well.
What you think about Henderson moving forward with Sony kind of working into that offense a little more?
I'm only concerned if Henderson's out this week and then Sony plays well, and then they end up he takes more carries. But if Henderson plays, I'm not concerned because he's played well. And then in the past, other than last year, because Akers came on later in the year and took carries, but in the past with Gurley and whoever else, I mean, he was in 70% of the plays and higher. So like the RB1 plays a lot in that system with McVay, and these first 2 weeks have kind of proved that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I really my only concern is if he is out and Sony does well, and then they decide to give more carries to Sony.
Henderson is good, man.
Colin, did you start Antonio Brown?
He did.
Yeah.
I did. I mean,
Look at Ryan selling high on Antonio Brown last week.
I think AB. I think there will always be one Tampa receiver every week that does well, and I think it's going to be hard to guess which one it is each week.
I think 2 are a pretty safe bet, to be honest with you.
But Gronk just happened to be the second one the first 2 weeks is the big thing.
I mean, Godwin and Evans had good weeks, right? So maybe it is 2 out of 3. Too.
Yeah, I think there's always going to be at least one of them left off every week, though, that you're kind of disappointed in.
And maybe what Gronk does. I mean, because Gronk's had 2 great weeks, so maybe it's 3 out of the 4.
Right.
Austin, can you go to AB's like game log again? What you had pulled up, and then go to 2020. So this is kind of where I was looking into him, and I just wanted more upside. But if you look at his last 3 weeks there, he did really well. And I mean, he had a couple stinkers, but he was new to the offense, so it's a little more expected. But I don't know. I think he's a pretty fairly safe bet, and I think him and Brady have a good connection. I
think that's something big to call out there too, Collin. He had really good games, but if you look at who he played, that's probably the 2 of the worst defenses in the league, and he played Atlanta twice.
Yeah, and at the end of the season too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'd have to look at the playoffs as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know his stats.
He did all right in the playoffs.
I don't think AB is bad, and I don't think that Collin got fleeced. I think what
was the trade again, Riley?
Just Logan Thomas for him, basically.
That's right.
And then I gave up Mike and Ruggs.
Giving up Mike Davis is totally fine. That dude stinks.
Hey, we're still seeing Ryan Tannehill on your team. How is this possible?
No one wants him. Not that he's played well the first 2 weeks, but it's cool. That's a question for the congregation, not me.
Well, now that Collin has his QB, I don't know who you trade him to now.
Yeah, no one. I'll probably just stash him. So I'll just have him as a security blanket, I guess.
Yeah, after I saw that trade go through, it made me question if I should keep Brady or not. Because me and Collin were talking about similar offers with Brady basically instead of Rodgers. So I wanted to keep Brady because I want to rotate him in and out with Dak. But I mean, he could be gone at the end of the year, and then you basically don't get anything for him. So
yeah, I was gonna tell you to trade Brady or Dak and then get a second rounder and then trade to me.
I thought about that. But I don't know.
Well, the difference is Austin wanted 2 seconds for Brady, and then Reid obviously just wanted that 1. So I could not give up 2 seconds for Brady.
Austin is a greedy bastard.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, see, I mean, I could have talked to Collin. We made it came to a better agreement than 2 seconds, but that was my initial ask. And then Collin didn't pursue much harder after that. So.
Well, that's because MVP available for 1 second.
Oh, are you talking about the 7-time champ? Is that what you said? Oh,
he didn't get those rings from playing.
Did you get that embarrassed so quickly, Reid? I didn't mean to make you show.
You don't get bonus points for doing well in the postseason. You get fantasy points for winning MVPs.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Oh man. All right. Is there anything else we want to talk about this matchup?
No, I think we can move on.
All right. We'll jump down to another big upset this week with Riley taking a
Oh, this was huge. We love Ciggy.
We do love Ciggy.
Let's go.
Truth of the devil.
We'll see what Ciggy has to say about that. He's on the call, right?
Yep, I'm right here.
Let's hear it.
Oh shoot.
Oh, are we going through the play-by-play here?
Oh no, I just want to get your thoughts about the upset.
Yeah,
What
give
do
us
you
the
think?
rundown.
Well, for me, I don't think it was an upset. I think Kyler Murray overperformed, and I mean, if he didn't overperform, I would have killed him. But I mean, it's really quick. I mean, Wilson's my only quarterback, really. I'm holding Darnold. I'm huge on Darnold. I think he's going to do really well in this offense. But I mean, Taylor. I think my biggest comment here for my entire team is Taylor.
He struggled.
The Colts didn't have Donald on Nelson for probably 80 to 90% of the plays. They matched up Donald on our right tackle, who's just completely just out of his game. And if you can take a look, right, first week he 6 for 7 interceptions. He's over 50% of his total yards were in receiving. So I think utilizing him there would be really good. But I mean, they've got Hines too, so there's a lot of competition there. But they're just not running the ball with Taylor. I think they just need to get used to the left side. I mean, running towards Nelson, those inside zones. But Eric Fisher just came back for his first game. Colts picked him up from the Chiefs a couple months ago, but it's huge disappointment in Taylor.
I think he steps it up, though. I mean, he's got Tennessee and Miami back to back. That should be 2 bounce back games for him before he gets Baltimore. So
with Easton
if you're
under
looking
center.
if you're looking at the Colts running back target share too, I was looking up a little bit this week. I think they have the leading running back target share in the NFL. I know he only had 1 target this week, and they have Hines, but I mean, I still think that he's probably good for 3 to 4 receptions per game on average, which is going to help boost that floor.
You think Taylor's outlook looks better these upcoming weeks with Wentz out?
Yeah, I think so. I think they have to lean on him.
Interesting.
But then the defense might key on them more. But granted, Wentz wasn't doing anything. Wentz wasn't great to begin with, though. So that's
Wentz is doing relatively well. Not lighting the world on fire, but he was better than Phil Rivers, I think. Maybe not for fantasy, dump off production, but
right.
I don't know. I think you have a real bum at quarterback. The offense is just going to come to a standstill a lot.
I agree.
Who is their backup, Ciggy? I can't remember off the top of my head. They got rid of
Backup.
Brissett. So.
Jacob Eason, right?
Well, they've got Eason and Ellinger.
Or is it
But
who is the backup? Is it Ellinger or Eason?
It's Eason.
Eason.
It's Eason. But Ellinger's
Eason.
out actually for the next couple of weeks too. So
Okay.
I think
It's like trotting out Ben DiNucci last year for the Cowboys. The offense is just going to stall.
We'll see. He said that they're playing Tennessee. Tennessee's defense has been like Swiss cheese, though. So we'll see which prevails, the crappy offense or the bad defense.
Before Ciggy continues, I want to quickly interject that I don't obviously I'm a little biased. I don't really think Kyler overperformed.
He had 5 touchdowns
and 400 pass yards. Kyler
I think
should be plus 30.
I think that's a high performance, but I don't think it's not like Aaron Jones getting 40.
I don't know. I mean, he's got 44 or 42. So I guess if you want to say that's not an overperformance.
He is Jacksonville next week. He's gonna I don't know. I think it's crazy to just discount Kyler's back-to-back 40-point weeks ago. Oh, if he scores over 40, he's crazy overperforming. I think that's a good performance, obviously, but it's not like a.
So you think he can score in the 40s multiple weeks moving forward from now too?
Like maybe not consecutively, but I never see that as being out of the picture at the start of the week.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with him.
I
there. It's
think
not like
I think
yeah.
on any given week, Kyler can put up 40 points.
I got you.
I agree.
That
yeah.
offense is humming.
But when he
the
does,
run
I still
game
think
is
it's like
not humming, but
noteworthy.
he is. Kyler's humming.
I mean,
Let's see what he does. I wonder. I'm interested to see like if he can keep it up during those divisional games because obviously
Yeah,
they're in a very tough division. So.
I think the Rams game is going to be tough. That's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, we usually do solid against them. At least
I mean, Tennessee and Vikings, those are Swiss cheese defenses, I think. And obviously, Jackson, but the Rams will be a good one to actually see where he's at.
Yeah, and even the Niners after that, I think maybe potentially.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that 3-week stretch here, Riley. Weeks 4, 5, and 6. Those are 3 pretty tough defenses there.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see what the Cardinals do in general. Honestly, sorry, go ahead.
I think Kyler is like. I don't think I'm going to blow anyone's mind here, but I think like he easily finishes top 5 fantasy wise and probably top 3.
I actually was listening to a podcast today, and they said on the podcast right now, they were drafting like for redraft, just like quarterbacks, they would take Kyler over Mahomes.
Fantasy, I would.
I think that was like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, no doubt. Kyler can very easily score more than Mahomes, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does it all. But the thing I like about Mahomes is just the consistency. Like, he's going to put up like 30-ish every week. And not saying that Kyler can't, but I feel like there's more like standard deviation. There's like a little bit more wiggle room. But yeah, Kyler's going to average-wise, Kyler's going to be right there with Mahomes, probably maybe even ahead of him.
I think the biggest thing about Kyler so far, even though he scored 40-plus twice, Riley, kind of to your point about him being able to do that, is he's had basically a 300-yard game and a 400-yard game, whereas I think what was really keeping his stats up last year was his rushing. Like, he was averaging probably in the beginning of the year when he was, like, the number 1 quarterback through the top 13 weeks. I think he was averaging, like, 70-plus on the ground with, like, a touchdown in every other game, whereas this year he's only – 5 attempts per game. It's definitely came down a little bit. So that's hopefully that's healthy.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. Know that it's like hyperbolic, but when you watch the games, it's like watching Russell Wilson escape out of the pocket, and then he also has like the same rushing capabilities as Lamar. That's hyperbolic. I think Lamar's a better runner, but like he kind of has like a hybrid of those two guys.
I can see that.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm ecstatic that he's throwing the ball more, and he looks like pretty good throwing them.
How do you feel about
his receivers are just getting open? That's it too. His receivers just get open.
How do you feel about your running backs, Riley? Swift and Darnold. I like Swift. I have him in redraft. I have him as a flex. I like it. I think he's a good flex. RB2. He still might be solid, but I'm
so. Yeah. I think Montgomery and Swift as a running back group is quite weak. I do think that they underperformed. I would expect Montgomery to get 15 points in a given week. I think he underperformed. And then I think Swift has the upside to break a play and hit 15 to 20, but it just didn't go that way this week. It's interesting. Yeah, I want to see what the Lions do with Jamal Williams. He didn't like really touch it as much as he did week 1. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing for Swift's productivity.
What's up, Collin?
Oh, I don't want to, go away from Jamal Williams, but I was going to say, your running backs are, average at best, but that's because your receivers are, so good. So you expect more from Metcalf and.
Well, I got burned by Chris Carson, and the one time in the past 3 years I didn't start Chris Carson. He not starting him cost me the game.
How many points did he put up? Oh shit, 15. Damn, yeah. I forgot you got Carson too. Yeah, even though you don't have a true RB1, maybe I like your group as a whole is solid. Carson.
But you look at Carson, right? And the only reason he did anything is he fell into the end zone twice.
Right. That's
So
what
it's
I was
like-
looking up. He didn't even have a catch.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
I think I made the right choice and just got burned by it.
Yeah, I agree.
But
Yeah, your
also
receivers
just
just more.
I mean, my receivers just somehow I hit low variability on like 3 of the 4 of my receivers. It's just unlucky.
Riley,
I would expect.
what do you think about Allen Robinson the rest of the year? I mean, he's really struggled so far. And I know they're about to transition to Fields most likely with Dalton being hurt. Do you think that that's going to help him? Do you think it's going to hurt him with Fields potentially running more?
I don't know.
Can
That's it.
I think
a little bit.
I was just gonna say real quick.
Go
I
ahead.
think like despite him running more too, Fields also I feel like young QBs and rookie QBs especially have a tendency to like spread the ball around. So I feel like it might also hurt in that aspect, but maybe not. But go ahead, Colin.
I was gonna say the opposite. I thought.
Oh, really?
Fields sticking on one guy because he's at this point he's a one read receiver really, or not receiver but QB. I can see him targeting Robinson a lot, and actually,
Gotcha.
Robinson had a touchdown that went right through his hands from Fields.
That's true.
I mean,
I saw that.
it was a bad drop. So, but yeah, and I think Fields stretches the field more than Dalton, so there's more chances for big plays.
Reid, what do you think about this matchup?
We still on Riley Ciggy.
Yeah.
I think Ciggy needs to trade for Hines so he can get the other 50% of the Colts backfield.
I think he stepped away.
I'm right here. That was funny.
Okay. I'm a big David Montgomery guy, really low on DeAndre Swift. Kyler Murray over Mahomes and a redraft is asinine. But yeah, Riley's wide receivers are great because he got Stephon Diggs. Shout out to whoever he landed that trade.
Yeah.
Oh, good for Cortland Sutton. I'm glad.
Yeah, I was going to call him out too. He had a big
Talk about
like. I'm not saying that's going to be normal because 159 yards is a lot.
Oh,
but
yeah.
like, Cortland Sutton's good, man.
What do you guys think
Yeah.
about Go ahead. I was gonna say something.
Oh,
else.
I was just gonna say that I'm gonna like grab a toaster and sit in the bathtub tonight because like Ciggy beating me with Cortland Sutton and DJ Moore, it like really tilts me.
DJ Moore is
DJ Moore is good, but there's no reason he should outproduce Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen or Russell Wilson and DK or Dak and Amari. Like I'm just
well, shape up.
admittedly salty.
That was a typical DJ Moore performance.
Low key.
Can we talk
What do you guys
about-
think? How do you go ahead, Ziggy?
Can we talk about Cortland Sutton? I mean, yeah, not a wide receiver one, but with Judy out, I mean, the production's there, right? So, I mean, isn't he a must? He's a must
12
start.
targets.
Yeah, Sutton's
Oh.
must start. Teddy's lighting the world on fire in Denver. So
He's actually
I
played really good so far. Teddy has.
I would start
Oh, okay,
start Sutton every week, like
Depending on who you have, I
something
don't know.
happens. Well, I'm
Didn't
saying
he
I
have
was-
one reception last week?
He had one catch, but that was
Yeah,
his
but-
first week back.
but now Judy's out and he's like 1 week even further past injury. Granted, it was against the Jaguars, maybe like not
That's
maybe
fair.
the worst defense in the league, but I still think Sutton's good.
No, I think he's a
call
good
out
flex.
a little bit more on DJ Moore. I think he really has stood out above every other Panthers pass catcher minus McCaffrey. I mean, Robbie Anderson, Riley, as you know, he didn't do good this week. He only had one catch last week. It just happened to be for a long touchdown. I really think that DJ Moore is kind of just taking over the offense for the target king. So I feel like it's just going to him and McCaffrey, and then Terrace
Yeah.
Marshall and Robbie are just getting the scraps.
I was really trying to sell Robbie Anderson before the season started, and then a little bit after week 1, and no one bit. So I can't drop him. I think he's still good, and I think that like he'll have good weeks. I think he's like an even more volatile Tyler Lockett, but worse than Tyler Lockett in every way.
That's a slap in the face.
What do you guys?
To the number 2 receiver in football.
What do you guys think about DK? I feel like he's still going to be very good and still going to be like, obviously a must-start every week. But I think there's definitely going to be some serious, maybe not serious, but definitely some notable regression from last year. I feel like fantasy-wise. I don't know why. It's kind of like a feeling.
I don't agree. I think that Seahawks, to me,
he did have 11 targets though.
Like the targets are there, and he'll have weeks eventually where he where the touchdowns go his way instead of Lockett's. It's
no doubt.
The Seahawks always go in spurts like that.
That's a good pick, and they literally only throw the Metcalf and Lockett too, so that is
right.
Can someone name the Seahawks third receiver? I dare you.
Geoff Swain.
Swain Eskridge.
Swain.
Yeah.
So you get 3 different answers and all bums. No offense.
I was going to call out too. As good as Riley's team is, the one thing that would make me a little bit scared if I was Riley is that the backbone of his team is off of receivers, and receivers are just more known to have this volatility like this.
Because there's more
I feel
variance.
like Riley's ceiling is higher than anybody else's for that reason, but I feel like his floor might not be as high as some of the other top teams just because he's relying so heavily on so many wide receivers.
That's a good plan. I like how you said it too.
I think you're not wrong. However, even this week, I don't obviously I feel bad about it, but for the rest of the season, I missed almost as bad as you can miss this week with most of my players, and I still put up middle of the pack numbers. So I'm relatively happy with my team.
Middle of the pack numbers. I don't know about that.
I lose to,
but I guess I lose to back. But
I lose to 3 teams and I'm within a touchdown from everyone else. That's relatively middle of the pack to me.
I just don't think you're going to win many games scoring 127 points.
Oh, I don't disagree. But I also don't think I'm going to score 127 that many weeks in a row.
Right. I feel you. All right. We'll jump down to our favorite game, unless you guys have any other comments. So, do you have any other thoughts on the team?
Subtle move by Riley to get Logan Thomas, for AB. Not that I love Logan Thomas, but definitely, obviously, you had an injury due to tight end spot, so I thought that was solid by you.
I think I see 7 targets for a tight end, and I'm really happy with it because some weeks if he puts up 10 points most weeks, and then sometimes he puts up 16 because he catches a touchdown pass, you can't really ask for more when you don't have a premium tight end. It's better than the 4 points Dan Arnold was giving.
Does anyone want J.D. McKissick?
Do you have him in redraft?
I mean, look at this guy.
Look at this. He had almost a whole point in week 1, and then this week he dropped 8.
That Giants game was bullshit. That was stupid.
What's up, Behi?
I was just saying, what are you sipping on?
I got some wine.
Atta boy, I like it. Red wine, of course.
Wine in a long time, but it sounded good tonight.
For sure.
I'm a little distraught. I thought I just offered Bradley a sweet deal to get to get Tyson and Elijah. I got shut down. So nobody wants these guys at a discount. So sad.
What's your price for Tyson?
What's my price for Elijah? We can talk after the chat.
No, not Elijah. The other one.
Oh, Tyson?
Yeah, sorry. I definitely said his name wrong.
We can talk after the chat. They're very much available for reasonable prices.
Is T Boyd still available?
T Boyd is still available for reasonable prices.
I wonder why no one's jumped on that. I like Boyd.
I'll all 3 together as well. The more you buy at once, the better deal you get.
Oh yeah, selling in bulk.
All right. Before we jump and start talking other trades, let's finish this matchup, and then I'll stop the recording, and then we can chat about other stuff. Let's go to the big matchup of the week that everybody's been looking forward to. The battle. Excuse me. The battle of the first pick of the 2022 draft.
No, this is typical Thursday night matchup, the Jaguars versus the freaking Titans or something. And, yeah, this was the Thursday night game.
It was exciting.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I think it was. I think honestly, this might be like one of the matchups that determines who the first pick is with Chris. I don't know how many games Chris is going to win, but I think him and Evan.
You don't think it's a deadlock between Reid and Evan, especially now that Reid got rid of Rodgers?
I really do think that Chris is going to be right there with him.
And Reid's trying to trade his only two like somewhat playable running backs.
Hey, Reid ran into a win by accident. Chris is out here trying his very best.
Touche.
I really want to meet and talk to Chris at some point. Like I don't know. It'd be worthwhile for him to find a direction with this team. What are we accumulating draft picks, or are we going for wins?
He doesn't. He probably. I don't know. Like I don't know if how much he goes into the app and thinks about his team and stuff. Because I feel like he doesn't.
Crap.
Yeah, I feel like he doesn't even consider trades or even think about them. That's what I was telling you guys the other day. I was like,
oh, he considers trades. What do you mean?
Yeah, much easier to trade.
Oh well, that's Well, Tom's a different story.
No, Chris probably looks at his, the app or his team the least out of everyone. But
yeah, I agree.
Have you talked to Chris much, Collin, about his team?
Yeah, I'll text him about it. I gave him crap about the Taylor for CHE. I mean, that one was for CEH.
Yeah.
And then, I never crap about starting Mayfield for Herbert, and then he ends up being.
Yeah, that
was
funny.
bold. Chris does do some shot in the dark type stuff like that though.
I've been trying to get Rondale for 3 weeks, and that guy won't budge. So Rondale is not. You won't trade Rondale.
No, I'm getting two. He was not going to budge. I really think it's kind of interesting. Herbert was a very early dynasty pick, but he is on the struggle bus so far. And his yards.
When was he picked?
He's thrown a lot of picks, and he's not scoring touchdowns.
Go to his
transaction.
transaction.
You see when he was picked real quick? Yeah, his transaction.
He was round 5.
Round 5.
That's my guess.
That sounds right. Maybe the beginning of round 6, because he wasn't available in round 7. Because would have taken him.
Yeah, he was like late 5th, early 6th round, I believe, when he was picked.
We can look. You could just show us.
Can I look? I don't see it on here.
Click on the player.
Click on the player.
Yeah, I was, but I don't think I can see where he was drafted.
Oh, is it different on the computer?
Yeah,
I'll
check.
Quick.
I can check.
Oh no, 5.0.
503. He was picked at 503.
Oof.
503. Damn.
That was a bad pick.
I think he's still got a lot of potential.
I mean, I think it's a bad pick if you're looking at this one season, but I think start a dynasty draft, take the young quarterback that you think is going to be good, take him whenever you think you're going to get him, right?
Right.
Because he won Ciggy the league last year after Ciggy, had a devastating injury, and then Herbert comes in to save the day.
So all you guys looking to sell quarterbacks, you might want to try to hit up Chris while Herbert's struggling.
Since we're talking about Herbert, it made me think of Mike Williams, and he's also on Chris's team anyway. He's looked real good. I know Collin knows. I don't know, I wish he could have stayed healthy his whole career because he probably could have showed this earlier, but he gets hurt more than anyone I know, and for real.
I think Mike Williams being in is bad for Keenan Allen, I think. Really bad.
Oh yeah.
Austin, that
conversation. I think Allen's fine. I think Allen's fine though.
I was talking about this year.
What'd you say, Reid? I couldn't hear you.
That conversation we had 3 years ago, I was talking about this year.
You were just 3 years early. That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot. Who was I going to talk about in this game? Josh Allen. Josh Allen has sucked so far. He's been
in his defense, he has played against 2 good defenses. But yes,
Miami's defense is not that good.
They're not bad.
They're not great. They're not. They might.
Oh damn! I didn't.
They're on the back end of that, maybe.
Yeah, they're solid. I didn't realize how bad Allen did because the Bills put up 35-42 to 0.
It was
they
a
ran
it
in
was a
three
it was a
touchdowns.
rushing game. Yeah, it was a rushing game. Much to my chagrin, it was a rushing game. But the Dolphins have like they've forced a turnover in like 25 straight games or something crazy.
Right.
Like I don't think the Dolphins defense is that bad.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I don't think it's anything that you should be scared of as a quarterback. Like, there's no reason that you look at that matchup and you think, he's probably not going to do great this week.
Yeah, I mean, when you have Josh Allen, like, no matter what defense it is, you expect more than, 22, 23 points.
Right.
Yeah, you're going into the season, you expected Mahomes, Kyler, Josh Allen to be top 3 quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And right
I
now,
wasn't as high on Allen. Not that he's not good, but I would have put Mahomes and Kyler on there. I don't know why. Like I told you guys in the chat, I feel like for some reason I just was never in love with like Allen and the Bills. Obviously, Allen's really good, but I feel like he may have been a tad overrated based off of last year. Like he was getting like MVP hype this year and all that, and like his first 2 years weren't like great, right?
He was really good last year.
Really good last year.
No, last year. I'm talking about before. I'm talking about the couple years before that.
Wasn't last year his second year?
It wasn't, was it?
I think so.
I believe it was his
Here,
third.
click on him.
Him and Baker were in the same class, so I believe
okay.
last year was his third year.
Okay, my bad. But going into year 3, he fixed his like throwing mechanics and like changed up like how he threw the ball, and it changed. Like it looked like a completely different quarterback. So that's why
I
people are
agree
hyped about him. But
he's still really
year,
good, but
he's kind of stinky this year.
So the only reason I remember that little fact is because Browns fans who are freaking out about the competency of their front office started like a website called Josh Allen Has bighands.com, where it just raved about how big Josh Allen's hands were and how it would make him the number 1 overall pick over Baker Mayfield. I wonder if that site exists somewhere.
Oh. Well, on a more interesting note, let's talk about Gibbs.
That was an interesting fact.
I'm surprised. I really had high hopes for him. Like, I thought he had top 5 potential running back upside going into the year, and he's not getting. I mean, his rushing yards and touches aren't bad, but he's just not getting as much in the passing game as I feel like
that Washington offense. I feel like they still just need to put it together.
You think?
Yeah.
As much as you guys love to suck off Taylor Heineke, he's not good.
Shut up. He's solid.
I don't.
He's a good backup.
He's a good backup.
I wouldn't know.
He's a good backup. I will say that.
I don't mean electric like he's like really good, but he's just fun to watch.
No, but electric connotates like he's like he's like must see TV. He's like Showtime here. He does like plays that.
It's must see TV when it's Thursday night and they're playing the Giants. Nobody on the Giants is must see TV.
Their defense is good.
Kenny G and Saquon.
Daniel Jones is must watch TV because it's funny no matter what. It's always funny to watch him play.
Hey, bro, he played well last week.
I know Daniel Jones is not bad, bro.
He's leading the Giants rushing yards so far.
And he ran for almost 100 yards. Like, and I like how they use that read option with him. They should do that more.
When you call it a read option and Daniel Jones takes the ball over Saquon Barkley, that's just funny. That's funny.
Hey, Danny Dimes got wheels. Like, he's fast.
Dude, he's super fast.
He's not even like sneaky fast. He's just legit fast. It's so surprising.
Yeah, which is like no one knew that. I feel like no like normal person knew that before the draft, but then all of a sudden you see him like scrambling.
The problem is that he tripped last year when he had that breakaway touchdown, and that's all anyone can think about. But the he's a runner.
Riley, do you think he's their starting quarterback week 1 next year or no?
Oh, that's a great question.
That is a good question.
I would assume so. They don't really have any other options.
I think
there's a draft next year.
I don't know. I think he's probably the starter next year as well, but it depends. I mean, if they, I don't think the Giants are going to be 0-17, 0-16, 0-17. I don't think they are.
I mean,
I think they'll probably win. I think they'll probably win 6 games. The games that they've played in have been relatively close.
No, I think they can, win like 6, 7, maybe even 8 games if they get their crap together. No, it was probably like 6 or 7.
I feel like if they don't draft a quarterback in this upcoming draft, it's just because of Dave Gettleman's pride, and he doesn't want to say that he's wrong about Daniel.
Well, he's probably going to be gone after this year unless they pull something out of their ass.
You think?
Yeah,
I think the Giants' defense should be better than it is. They were trending up last year, and by the end of the year, they looked okay, and now they kind of look bad again. It's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's stop talking about the Giants. They suck. Move on.
Henry
Kyle
Ruggs
Pitts decided to show up this week for Atlanta a little bit.
You're still not getting a return on your draft capital for him, but it's Dynasty, not redraft, so.
Yeah, looking at that, I think he was picked at the 307. That was a little
Evan reached on a couple dudes, I feel like, but 307.
Evan got his guys. Can't say he didn't.
I mean,
that's true. I kind of did what I did, so I can't say much.
Kyle Pitts is 20?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Weird
with their age.
Maybe.
Can't even drink alcohol yet.
All right.
I know.
Yeah,
what did you say, Colin? You kind of cut out.
I know. After this performance, Evan was.
Yeah, he's 20 for like 2 more weeks.
Anybody that had a dollar bill.
Dude, Henry Ruggs scored 20.
He scored 20.
Yeah.
Career performance. Career right there. John Ross also had a 20-point game or 2, so this is on brand.
Yeah, I like with Ruggs, this is your best outcome, and you'll probably get it at best
once every Yeah.
You'll get this kind of performance 2 to 3, maybe 4 times a year.
I can't. No, you're way too much credit, Riley. I can't believe.
Right.
Can't believe what?
I can't believe he started him.
Oh.
He's got no one else to start. No, it's not that he has no one else to start. Is that Evan is fielding, quote unquote, a competitive roster, but he's trying his damnedest to lose. This game for Evan was like the Jets winning last year when they lost the opportunity for Trevor Lawrence. That's what this game was.
Why is Denzel Mims still on?
Dude,
what happened to him?
I don't know. He's got the athleticism.
Is he inactive?
40-yard catch? Good for him.
Well, with this new coaching staff, I read that they want to go towards what the 49ers are doing with their offense, like get their guys in space and let them run. And Mims is more of a deep threat. He's not really a, intermediate short.
So was he inactive week 2 or did he get hurt?
He was a healthy scratch.
Yeah.
I didn't know he got a 40-yard catch though. Like that's weird that you deactivate a guy after having a 40-yard catch. But
Mims is. It's weird because Mims isn't. He had flashes last year as a rookie of not being bad, and then he kind of just got buried by the new coaching staff, which is tough.
Talk to us, Austin.
I just want to know where these flashes are because I guess I am blind. I think
he had a couple. He had some big plays last year.
His Denzel Mims is a future version of Michael Pittman. That's my hot take of the evening. So,
version of did they come out in the same class or maybe 1 year before Pittman?
I think Mims is 1 year older. Yeah.
No, Mims is
in the same class.
They're both.
Yeah.
So I guess they are the same class. So I guess they can't be a future version. They will be. If you're 2 years down the road, they will be just as fantasy relevant. Both of them will be.
I think that is a hot take. I think Pittman has way better.
Pittman's already, he's already shown. I feel like he's already shown a lot more than Mims. Not that it's crazy, but
Mims isn't on the starting roster, and Pittman is.
I know that's how well I think of Pittman, even though he did have a big game this week. So
we don't have to get into a Mims versus Pittman 10-minute conversation.
Collin almost killed me with that.
Was there anything else in this matchup you guys wanted to call out?
No,
Clyde sucks, and anyone who said he's good is stupid. Not that he's bad, but he's just not fantasy relevant.
He's so bad, dude. I mean, I think
If
this
he's-
goes back to the whole reason why if you're a front office, I don't care who your best player is. Their job is on the field, and your job is to run the team and getting the best talent there. Because I know that Mahomes really wanted CEH on this team for pass catching, but if you put DeAndre Swift on this team, or if you put who else came out of that class? I'm trying to think. That was right after him. Jonathan Taylor, yeah. I mean, if you put either one of those two backs on this offense, that Kansas City offense, they're unstoppable now, but it just takes it to a new level because they can actually run the football.
You were
Just
so
to play
devil's
coming from a guy who
advocate.
took CEH number 4 in redraft last year as a rookie.
Just to play
Just a
devil's
disclaimer.
advocate,
Austin
the Chiefs don't use him as a pass catching back. He's like, what is he? He's 5'8", and they just run him like up the gut, and he doesn't do anything. It's like, yeah, no shit. He's tiny.
Makes
college
sense.
pass catching, and they just don't use it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, but also you can't really blame the Chiefs because if you're the Chiefs and you're throwing the ball, why would you throw it to a running back when you could just wait a half a second and Kelsey is wide open for 7 yards and Tyreek's wide open for 40? You know, like
Austin, I don't want to hear anything out of you about CEH because you were so
Yeah.
high.
Yeah,
Like here, I'm
Hey,
taking
Took him number 4 in
realized
redraft
that-
last year.
I
No, no, no.
realized I was wrong on
gotta
CEH
take-
after week 1 last year, after he ran 6 times inside the 5-yard line and didn't score. I knew I was wrong at that point.
So yeah, you got to sit out of this one.
Yeah, I definitely got it.
Facts.
I was very high on him going into last year, but I was wrong.
No, it's like the last 6 running backs that got taken in the first round. The only one that's relevant currently is Saquon, and even he's struggling. Like
when was Dobbins taken?
he was a second round pick.
Second.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I know. Look at some of those running backs taking the second round. Dobbins, Akers, obviously he got hurt, but Taylor was second round too, right? Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor was second round, Swift second round.
Back in the day, Chubb was second round.
I need to find the tweet.
I would
Yeah,
say
that's-
like
About what?
let's just-
What's up, Colin?
I was gonna kind of change the subject, so if someone had something to say about that.
No,
Tony Michelle
Oh,
was
it looked like you agreed with my take on CEH though, and the Chiefs drafting him based on your head.
Yeah, I agree. But like just like team building, I kind of think it's dumb to take skill position players in the first round because I think they're so easy to find in the second, third round, and games are won in the trenches. If you have a good O line and a good D line, like you have a good chance to do something. I don't
don't know,
I agree
Colin.
with that. I agree with that, but taking linemen is so boring.
Fire, bro. Kadarius
I'm
Toney's
saying-
lighting the world on fire.
Well, I'm not saying every wait.
No,
was he taken the first-
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, he's agreeing with you. He's making.
No,
fun of the Giants.
I'm being sarcastic with the Giants taking Kadarius fucking Toney.
I couldn't remember where he was drafted. That
He
is
was like
crazy.
he was like 120, like in the 20s, I think.
Yeah, he was. I think he
22,
was
I think
25th.
21, 22. ETN was 25th.
You're right.
Well,
He was low 20s.
The Eagles fucked us on Devontae Smith. So
Yeah, they did. They jumped up right there at that, like with the pick
Always.
before, wasn't it? That they take Devontae one pick before him.
yeah, it was toxic.
Really? What pick was he? 6, 9? Oh, he's like 11 or 12. Devontae was, wasn't
Yeah.
No, he's top
11.
10, I think.
What?
Wasn't he?
What'd you
he?
say?
I don't remember actually.
Devontae
He
was
might have been
6th
9.
overall.
I think he was 9 or 10.
He was
So,
10.
He might have been 9. I think Surtain was 10, wasn't he? The Bronco. Oh, was Surtain 9?
Actually, it
Not
was
that
10
all
or
those-
11. I'm not sure which one it was.
We're all going. Not that it matters, but yeah.
Before we go down this rabbit here, these are the list of recent first-round running backs. We got ETN this year, who's obviously hurt. CEH.
Najee.
We got Josh Jacobs,
Ignores him.
Saquon, who was good, obviously. Then we have Fournette, and then we start getting into like Zeke and Gurley. Those are good ones, but it's like
4 of the last 5 years when a first-round running back is taken, they've been honestly crap.
Jacobs hasn't been bad besides this year.
He's been as good as CEH.
No, he's been better than
He's
CEH.
out. That's a little disrespectful. Not that he's been like great, but definitely a lot better than the CEH.
I mean, Fournette might have had one really good year.
Jacobs finished last year.
Oh, we also have Sony Michel in there too.
Bro, he was the 8th ranked running back last year.
What are his other finishes? He hasn't really been that good on the field.
21.
All volume.
He's only been there for 2 years.
Yeah, right.
I think Josh Jacobs would be easily replaceable with like a 3rd or 4th round running back, basically, with what he does.
Jacobs, I agree with you. Jacobs, I agree with you. But someone not that these guys were first round. I don't remember about Dalvin Cook, but like someone like Nick Chubb, I feel like he's not necessarily as easily replaceable. He's like a freak. He's like one of those freak guys.
We also got
too, obviously.
Rashad Penny and Sony Michel. I overlooked them.
Ew, they were taken in the first round?
Yeah.
I remember Sony Michel, but Rashad Penny was?
Oh, it's Seahawks. They take
goodness.
3rd round every year.
Oh,
Penny
my
finished
goodness.
RB66 as a rookie, and his best finish was RB58.
Rashad Penny was a first round pick. That's amazing.
He has been hurt like